Welcome back to another episode of Minutes with Margaret. I'm Dr. Margaret Coates, Superintendent of Owasso Public Schools, and joined here today with our Director of Safety and Security, Mr. Paul Croft, and School Resource Officer, Sergeant Matt Goodell. Welcome, gentlemen. Looking forward to our conversation. Today, it's going to be about safety and security, and we could talk on and on about safety and security. And before we get too far in our discussion, I just want to remind parents that if you have any concerns about your child's safety or security, please reach out to your student's principal, and that principal will be able to guide you and provide you resources and information to help you. So the first thing that I'd like to talk to you guys about is our safety and security plans that we have at each school site.
So our EOPs are something that we ask our principals each summer to review and update with new information, whether it be faculty or staff that may be a part of that. Once they get that information updated, they send that to me, I review it, I get all those put into one folder, and then I send those out to about 10 to 12 different agencies throughout the Tulsa County and Rogers County. In those emergency operation plans, a lot of times it will detail our drills that we do. For example, fire drill, tornado drills, and things of that nature. And then once we get those out to the emergency operation people in the county, then we can go back and make sure that everything's good with them as well.
As far as a proactive approach to safety and security, can you talk to us about the things that we're doing in regards to safety and security to be proactive? So
some of the proactive things that we have done here at Owasso, with the governor having an executive order this summer as far as the risk vulnerability, the rate panic button, we were kind of ahead of the curve a little bit. We ordered that risk vulnerability assessment back in the spring. We just received those, and it has a lot of good information in there. The good thing about it is we're already doing a ton of what they have in that report. Some of the other things are the access control that we have in our buildings is operated through our office areas, so you have to be buzzed in before you can come into our schools. And so one of the things we did this summer is we got together and we come up with a plan to make sure that we had school radios in our SRO's hands and our school nurses. That way, if there's an emergency, it takes just seconds to get that information out to the people that need to respond. And so that's one of the things that we did this summer.
And this summer we partnered with the Owasso Police Department and our school resource officers to do some active shooter drills in the schools. You want to talk about that?
So the goal of getting inside the schools is to show the other officers kind of the layout, let them get used to the hallways, how the doors are set up, how the doors swing in, how the classrooms are set up, so if they do have to show up in response to something that happens, they have an idea of how the school is set up.
Thank you. Parents sometimes hear the term lock out and lock down. Could you describe the difference between the two terms and when each would be used in what scenario?
So for us, a lockout drill or a lockout situation at Owasso School is simply that we're going to lock all of our exterior doors and we're not going to let anybody in the building. And our principals or administration will be at those entry spots in the building. If a student needs to come into the building, they will come through the front, and a principal or administration will identify that kid and make sure they belong in the building. And they're going to continue to operate normal in the classroom. They'll do their normal work. Teachers will be lecturing and doing what they normally do. When we go to a lockdown, that is exactly what it is. We're locking the building down, the classroom down. Our teachers are turning the lights out. They're getting kids in a safe spot, and they are sheltering there until we decide that the lockdown is over. And that will be lifted by either an administrator or Owasso PD. And I'll let Sergeant Goodell explain why we do a lockout or a lockdown.
So parents get concerned when they hear that their school went on lockout, which it should be the complete opposite. A lockout means that we are protecting the kids that are inside and there's no threat to any of the kids at that time. Typically, I'll put the school on lockout if I hear that a pursuit is coming towards the school, if an officer's chasing somebody towards the school, if a crime happens close to a school where that person could run and become a threat to the school. So we put the school on lockout before a threat even gets close to the school. We get all the doors locked on the outside and allow no one to come inside. So a lockdown is if a threat is on campus at all, or close to the campus and could be a threat to the campus. We will put the school on lockdown where there's absolutely no movement, everything's locked down, make sure every kid is safe inside.
Thank you both for your time and for sharing this information with everyone. We are fortunate to have the kind of support that we do from both of you, as well as Owasso Police Department and our fire department, and fortunate our school district has that support, but also the Owasso community. So thanks again for being here with me on this episode of Minutes with Margaret, and look forward to another episode coming next month.